Welcome to another edition of the Nurse Delight podcast. We are hosted by JayRow.
And Crump Casso.
Welcome. We are picking up where we left off with our Wakanda Forever review. And sorry we had cut you off, Marcus. I know you was talking about you wanted to touch more upon ideologies as well as just more of a general scope of where we left off.
Right. I appreciate you guys for having me again. I mentioned ideologies and how important they are to humanizing, to making the Marvel villains more relatable. Thus far, if you think about it, the people that we tend to like the most at some point, right? The ones we feel most strongly about at some point, they've been the villains that have been their why has been given to us. They've been explained. We've been able to see the why of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Think of the kid's name. He was in Captain America Civil War, and he's the one at the end of the movie where T'Challa stops him from taking his own life. And
Zemo.
There you go, Zemo. And he's in prison in Wakanda now, so that's going to be really interesting given that Wakanda was just flooded. So I imagine he's free.
Yeah.
At this point, which is horrifying. But anyway, so that's something that came to mind. But
yeah.
One of the things
he's supposed to be in that Thunderbolts movie, so
yeah, I mean I think, and I've said before, I've said it before, man, Wakanda Forever did a great job of fully expanding the Marvel universe while also tying up some loose ends. But to me, Phase 4 is all about giving us new characters, like giving us lots of new characters, new concepts to work with. The first few phases introduced Infinity Stones, give us some basic characters, give us a starting point. Phase 4 is about expanding that world we knew before, shaking up everything and saying, hey, here's a whole new slate of characters for you guys to run with and get familiar with. New worlds for you to come to know and love and whatnot. From New Asgard to Wakanda to just all kinds of new places, right? So then, but it also gave us the new villains, the US. Because Val strikes me as the kind of woman that's very ambitious, because she knows she's progressed higher every time we see her. She's in a new. Every time we see her, she's in a new position. So that woman's ambitious in like the worst way. That she's a man, and we know what her ideology is. We know what she said. She's like she would love to see the U.S. in control of all the vibranium.
Yeah.
So we don't have to guess what her why is. We know why. She's loyal to the U.S. government, and she just wants to see it in a position of power. And we know absolute power at that. So we already have.
And shout out to Julia Louis-Dreyfus for her performance in that role, because she kills it.
Yeah,
she really does. I don't like her, but she does kill. I don't like her because of the way she portrays herself. But she did a great job of doing it. So
yeah.
But again, the more Killmonger, Thanos, even Julia Dreyfus, they just do a great job of explaining their why.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a guy like what's his name? The guy who took the vibranium from Wakanda.
Claw.
Thank you. Yeah. So even what was his why? He just wanted vibranium. He just wanted to sell it. Greed was his motivation. Well, what values, like what importance do we assign to greed? We don't like that. So we already don't like him because we don't like his why.
Right.
So once again, Marvel just did a great job of just putting in perspective how we need to feel about these characters, but they don't do it in an obvious way. It's not like, he's a bad guy because he's got a sinister grin or anything like that. He's a bad guy because he's freaking greedy.
Right.
Evil, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So, by the way, when they introduce Apocalypse, oh my God, I can't wait.
Well, the right way.
Yeah.
Apocalypse from X-Men?
Yeah. Are you doing the movie?
Well, no. He was saying when they introduced him, and he said he can't wait, and I was like, the right way, do it the right way, because the most recent one,
God,
I couldn't.
Horrible.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes of that movie, flawless. After that, it is the worst movie. Morbius is the worst movie known to any superhero.
That's trash movie.
Oh God, I wanted to sue them I wanted to sue them for
time wasted.
It was painful. We grew up watching Marvel. Right. We love stuff. To see what they did to Morbius, see what Sony did to Morbius. My God, that's embarrassing.
I agree.
Definitely wasn't a fan of that. To stay on the Wakanda piece before, what would you say? And this is both of you guys' question. Who would you say was the most forgettable character in the movie?
That's a good question.
I can tell you, for me, it was Everett Ross. Like, he was like, I don't know, man. I just never really liked this character in these movies.
Most forgettable characters. Gosh, it's hard to say because I see characters that seem insignificant that I know will play a big role later. I feel like they will. Like, even like they were crapping on the Jabari tribe in the first movie, and one of their own has become the king of Wakanda. Basically. So now they gotta reconcile that. They gotta come face to face with the very people they were just pooping on in the first movie, right?
Remember, they saved T'Challa in the first movie.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Went from dismissing him in the first movie to saving him at the end of the movie to now having him as a part of the council member, right? Part of the council at the beginning of the second movie to have him as king. So, I mean, it's wow. What mighty have fallen. So there's that part, right? But then also, you mentioned the Everett Ross. I thought he was important because he made the connection with Val. Once again, expanding and connecting to Marvel Universe. He's important because that's his ex-wife. Also, he's in a position of authority too within the federal government. He's with the CIA. That's important. But it's also his ex-wife, so he has a connection with her, and she's going to be important going forward. So he might have some relevance to us as well. Man,
it could be anything now because the Wakandans broke him out of transport.
Yeah, so he's gonna have he's gonna have an impact going forward. Somebody else I wanted to mention that stood out to me: the two people from I can't to what's it called? The underwater place.
Oh, I can't remember what they called it.
T'Chakin or something
like that.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of them, I want you to finish your point, but I speaking of, go ahead.
Well, the woman was a bit of a warmonger.
Like, you saw his right hand. Yeah, his right hand. Yeah, the girl. Yeah, I think her name was Namoria.
Something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Namora, I think was her name, and she was a bit of a war hawk. So I think she's gonna be a problem later on. She didn't want them to. She didn't want.
She didn't want peace. Yeah.
She didn't want peace with the Wakanda. She wanted to assault them. She wanted to assail them in every way possible. Not only that, the guy, his left hand, if you will, she's his right hand. His left hand was just a bloodlust creature.
Yeah.
He wanted to kill. He wanted to fight. I don't know if he even wanted to kill. He just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
That guy, come on, man.
All right.
Namora. Her name is Namora.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So both those characters to come back and in an interesting way, because their positions. One of them just wants to kill for the sake of killing and fighting. The other one wants to dominate Wakanda and the humans too, if needed. And so
it's Talokan. They're Talokan.
That's what it was. So Talokan. So I expect those Talokians to have some sort of rift with brother Namor later on in the movie, in subsequent films.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and so speaking of the Talokans, I know. Look, this is the nerd in me. I don't care. So you know what they do like this. Yo, I was like, that is Dragon Ball Z Street Fighter, like hands down. Like I said, I peeped that when I saw Ryan Coogler. I was like, Ryan, you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, you're a Street Fighter fan. I know that's what that's from.
Yeah.
I was like, I got you.
What's his name? Michael B. Jordan said that his outfit was inspired by Vegeta.
Yeah, the Sand Armor. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, so it makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Very cooler, man. All the details matter. Everything matters. When you ask which character was forgettable, nobody was in the film by accident because it seemed like everybody had a purpose. So I couldn't see where the forgettable characters were.
I agree with that too. And the person I was going to mention, I agree with Marcus. Like, I don't think they were forgettable, but they're kind of what Marcus was saying. I feel like their role was just kind of like there, but I feel like it could have been bigger, and perhaps they're going to, well, not perhaps, I know for a fact they're going to expand on it later. But despite the fact that I like the role, I honestly kind of feel like Ironheart was a letdown for me, honestly. I feel like, despite the fact I liked her character, I don't really feel like she contributed much to the movie. I feel like she could have been taken out and the movie still exists almost the exact way that it happened. I feel like they could have replaced her with any other random no-name scientist and the movie still would have like happened pretty much the same exact way.
Yeah.
Like I really thought she was gonna do like she's Ironheart, with the Iron Man suit, quote unquote. I really thought she was gonna play more of a bigger impact in like the final battle and everything. And like if she was just there for me, like she was just flying around, kind of causing a distraction for me. Like she didn't really do much that I really thought she was gonna play a much bigger impact in this movie when I found out she was gonna be in it. And I feel like she pretty much was just a scientist. You might as well say she wasn't really Ironheart. Like she was just like the scientist who was the spark for the battle between Namor and Wakanda. I feel like she was just there. She was just there to create that controversy, that to create that tension for the overall plot to build. But other than that, again, that could have been any random no-name scientist. I feel like she definitely should have played a bigger role to me in this movie. But to Marcus' point, I know for a fact they're gonna expand her character. So this is probably just a moment for them to throw her in here, introduce her, so we could have her later on in the franchise. So I understand it. I don't want to say she's forgettable, but I just really wish she had done more.
Well, I think the term we might be looking for some of those characters is placeholder, right? Because I felt like the reason why she had I see what you're saying about her being forgettable, because there were several parts where I kind of forgot she was in the film.
Right.
I forgot at some points, and when I saw her again, I was like, "Oh yeah, there's that chick."
Right.
I forgot about her. I think in this film, what we're gonna have is definitely what we had were placeholders. But I tell myself that if you think about the biggest action sequences, who were involved in them? Wakandans.
Right.
Yes.
She's not Wakandan.
Right.
This movie is called Black Panther 2. I'm sorry, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Right.
But she was a part of the biggest action scene.
She wasn't the most pivotal part.
She wasn't, but she was a part of it. And she also saved them when the ship when they were throwing the bombs at the ship. She saved them. She stopped it from getting thrown down, sinking. And then she also was the one who figured out Namor's weakness.
Which is ironic, because if you remember that scene in the beginning, when they went to MIT and they were in her dorm room, and with the heater.
Yeah.
I tell all the time, you can't watch Marvel films just once. You have to see it again, because you will miss out on a lot of stuff if you just watch it one time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of information to take in at once. You can't possibly process all that stuff at one time. There's no way.
Yeah.
So I watch all the Marvel films at least twice.
Yeah. I just want to revisit this for sure.
Yeah, I'm not watching Morbius more than that one time though. God, man, that movie is just the Slava Medvedenko of Marvel films.
Hey, don't say that about Slava, because Slava is good. He's good people from what he's doing for his country. Can't say that. Can't say that.
He didn't do a damn thing for the NBA.
Oh. But
No.
go ahead.
There was one more thing I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, please.
One of you guys mentioned the part about representation, and I know you know my stance on this, Jarrell, so I realize I'm being a bit hypocritical with this. However, you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, I told Jarrell that while I agree with him about T'Challa being recast, looking at the way they've done it now, it makes sense. And my hope is that T'Challa will meet Storm, and that maybe this T'Challa will go on to have that family with Storm. I don't know how they're going to work it out, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but my hope is that this T'Challa will have, the child with Storm, and we'll go on how that storyline and all that. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm just hoping it will.
Yeah.
No, I hope. But what I was saying that with representation, if we rely on these people, the wonderful creators of Marvel, if we rely on them to represent us, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. This is a famous expression. That which you do for me, without me, you do to me. You speak for me. I can speak for me. You cannot. So if I expect you to speak for me in a way that is equitable and fair for me, then you're going to do me a disservice every time. You can't speak for me. You're not me. You don't know what my needs are. You don't know what I need or how I like to have things addressed. So I can't possibly expect you to represent me. I can't expect you to speak up for me, to advocate for me. I can do that just fine. Now, your job, if you're an ally, is to empower me to do those things. So I think that that's important for us to keep in mind when it comes to these Marvel films, these Marvel characters. So Black Panther, love both movies, absolutely love both movies. Now we'll be watching them ad nauseum. But when it comes to representation, I think that Black creators and maybe Black audiences might want to consider creating their own table, because the one that we've been, seeing, the one we've seen before is full.
Very interesting take. I like that quote too. It's a really good quote.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a social worker. There's that.
Yeah. But I agree with everything you said, though. I definitely agree. To see more representation created by the ones who want to be represented, I think is a very big pivotal factor that I think should be embraced more. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mark. Yeah, like my thing, trust me, like I hear you, I understand. I just still feel there's that, and trust, yeah, I agree with you. I just still feel there's a way that can be done to still put people in check and still put notice on where it needs to be put notice on. I'm with you. We should, like, if we want something done, we should do it ourselves. I get it. But with this particular thing, there's always that understood, like, it's just like with Blade. Like, my thing is like, we that's part of the reason why I'm slightly negative about the Blade movie, because the fact that they chose an older actor to play Blade. And he how many movies realistically can he do? Realistically, it's only maybe 2. Because dude is like 53 years old. Okay, he can only do 2 movies. Like, let's be real. Like, and like, you gotta cast smart, you gotta cast young, you gotta cast in a way that we can get represented in a way that's believable. Like, I strongly feel like if you have characters like a Spider-Man, a Batman, a Wolverine, a Superman, etc., who they recycle actors to play these roles, like they do it like it's clockwork. So it's like you can do the same. Trust me, it's not the same, but you shouldn't have the same pause to do it for a black character. And like I said, I that's neither here nor there. I'm not harboring on it. I'm not trying to harbor on it. I'm just saying there's always a way to go about it that's smart. You're not doing anyone a favor by just saying, oh, you don't want to recast the role because it's too soon. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. I just think it's a cop-out reason.
And you could, I mean, you're right to make the argument. It really is a cop-out reason. And at the same time, you gotta admit, Christopher Reeves, many people thought he was iconic, he was the best. And then we got, Dean Cain, pretty damn good at his job. We also
Tom Welling and
Tom Welling, Henry Cavill, and I forget who the other guy was. He did two Superman films. He wasn't bad. Man of Steel and Superman's. I can't remember what it was.
Man of Steel is Henry Cavill.
Okay, who's the guy that did 2 films? He did 2 consecutive films, and then that was it. We didn't hear from him again.
No.
It was before Henry Cavill.
Well, Brandon Routh did one movie. He did one movie. He did Superman Returns.
Okay, I might be thinking about him and just conflating 2 films.
He did one movie. Yeah.
Okay, so he did the one. So we had a lot in that regard. But here's the thing: no matter what they did, they always found somebody else, another white guy, to pick up the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no disrespect to those guys because I enjoyed all those films. I watched them all multiple times. So I'm not, denigrating those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something to be said. There's a lot to be said, actually, about dispensable characters.
Yeah.
Himself is not dispensable, but the guys who played him, you can make the argument that maybe they were, because we had so many after him.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm trying to, not trying to disrespect those guys, but if you just named all 4 different Superman characters and we all remember all of them. We remember all their films.
Yeah.
Right? You can make the argument that they're dispensable characters. They're expendable. And also they don't resonate with Superman. Their performance of Superman doesn't resonate enough with the audience to the point where we can say, hey, we can't have another one. Whereas with Chadwick Boseman, he brought T'Challa alive. Part of it is because we hadn't seen him before. We'd never seen a black character like that. That's one part. The other part is he did a damn good job. I believe
it was a movement. It was a cultural movement movie.
Man, I live here in Atlanta where they shot Black Panther. I live here. And I remember when that movie was being shot, when it came out, you would think Atlanta was Wakanda because people would just hate that.
Crazy.
God, that movie, incredible. The way it took off, the way it seized the city in a way that I've never seen anything else do it before. Mm-hmm. Not real music, not trap music, nothing else. It seized the city. You had people, young and old, black and white, all saying Wakanda Forever. I've never seen anything like it. I just happened to be fortunate here in 2016. Mm-hmm. Right, the movie took off, and then when it actually came out, that movie, my God, man, what a cultural movie! It wasn't meant to be that way, but because the Chadwick Boseman character, his portrayal resonated so well with the people.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was just Chadwick, dude. I think it was just the issues that was tackled in that movie. Like I think it was a lot of it just hit close to home, and it was something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Coogler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know we said at the end of it, at part 1 we said a thumbs up movie, but to end this episode and to end this review, what would you say? I would say letter. Let's do a letter grade. Letter grade for this movie. What would you give it? I'm gonna start with you, Marcus.
Are we judging this movie against itself or against all the other Marvel films that came before it, or against Black Panther, the first one?
I kind of don't even want to look. I don't even want to compare the 2 movies between Black Panther and this one. I think it's kind of disrespectful. Okay.
Well, do we want to compare it to all the other Marvel films?
We can do that, or we can just give it a letter grade. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, for me, let's see. Gosh, man, this movie was so. It was funny. When I think of the worst Marvel film to date, I don't think of
Not Marvel, MCU. We're gonna stick to MCU. We're not looking at any of this Morbius, X-Men,
no
all
problem.
that stuff. Like we stick to MCU stuff.
Yeah, no problem. The worst one to date is easily Thor 2. Easily.
Yeah.
Like, that one, it's like I feel like that director robbed Marvel, right? And they need to sue them for damages. It's that bad. It's that bad. What I would like, and they were looking to create a charitable cause. I mean, hell, they could have made me the director of that movie. It was so bad. It was so bad.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
But I would give this movie definitely, gosh, man, letter grade A+. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because they allowed us to grieve during the movie. I can't think of the last Marvel film that took itself that seriously. And if you look at the Marvel film that came out before, which is a Thor film, Thor is funny. The movie is funny. But at no point did I ever feel like I was having a real experience. It didn't hit me emotionally. I was sad when Jane, had cancer and all that. That was sad, but it was in that one moment. Yeah. This movie, from start, which is when we got the ode to Chadwick Boseman, the whole movie theater was silent. You could hear a mouse pissing on cotton. It was so quiet in the movie theater. And then at the end, and I'm going from beginning to end, but along the way, so many different emotions, a flood of emotions. Yeah. Really, God, you felt everything. Anger, disbelief, sadness, frustration, indignation. You felt everything in this movie. Yeah. What other Marvel movie made you feel this way aside from Black Panther? The first one.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, man.
So this movie, in terms of the cinematic experience, I mean, my God, it gave you all that. Very few Marvel films make you feel the full gamut of the human condition. And some people might say, oh my God, this idiot is overrating this film so much. That's fine. It's got its flaws, but for me, this movie's an A+. Ryan Coogler strikes again. Wakanda Forever.
What about you, Crump?
I should went first because after Marcus' breakdown, I don't know if I want to.
Nah, man, that's his opinion. Go ahead and do you.
No, it was really good. I agree with everything he said. Overall, I'll give it a B. I thought it was a really, really good movie. I did feel like it had its weaknesses, like its little flaws here and there. Overall, I thought it was a really good movie. Like I said, I would definitely look forward to watching it again soon if I can. I feel like Marcus broke down. He did such a good job breaking it down. Like I don't know, but
it's hard to talk. It's hard to cut. Hard to talk.
Yeah, but I agree. I agree with everything he said.
Yeah.
It was just like I feel like I said like little things here and there. I feel like should have been different, or I wish had been done differently.
Yeah.
But it was a really good movie. So I would say a solid B. Yeah, maybe even B+. But it was good. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take your route, Jordan. I'm gonna go B+. And that was higher than what I initially had before this podcast. Like, trust me. Like, and this is like I was thinking about this for a while, like before we even agreed to get together to review this movie. Because even after watching it initially, I had C. I was pushing the C. I was like at letter C. But then, like, just letting it marinate a little bit, thinking about it. Listen to everybody talk about it, listen to you guys talk about it, kind of putting my own feelings out of it, but being objective and being also respectful to the people and the product that they gave to us. I give it a B+. And I mean, my nitpicks of what they are. But honestly, the reason why I give it a B+ instead of an A is I just think that it just wasn't the same without T'Challa. And then it's like, it's not about the recast. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just what I was saying earlier, the depression, the sadness of just seeing the movie and not seeing him in the movie,
Yeah.
kind of just made me feel a weird kind of deflated way about watching it.
Yeah.
I thought everybody did a great job acting in it. I think it was phenomenally done.
Yeah.
I think no one left no stone unturned. There were a couple things I wish would have happened. I can't say it in this video because I don't want to be like forecasting the future.
I did it.
Okay. I actually thought they were going to team up to fight Dr. Doom. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, wow.
So that would have been pretty interesting to see, because I thought that was what they were alluding to anyway, about another country looking to do something. And I thought they were going to introduce that element. So because it'd have been a great segue to the Fantastic Four. And another thing that I wanted to say that lowers this to a B plus is because of the whole phase as an entirety. And that's in a negative, because I told Marcus this, and I'm telling you this now. We've had a separate conversation about tying things together, closing things off for the phase. This was the final movie of this phase. And it still came, not this movie, not the movie, not talking about the movie. I'm talking about closing the phase. It still was a jumbled mess. I still feel like the phase was a jumbled mess. I mean, we're not talking about the movies. We're talking about how I know Mark said this was a phase of introducing new characters, new ideologies, all these different things. I get it. I understand it. But also think back about the previous phases. They still had a path. This didn't have anything to do with anything. This movie was basically about, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, just being realistic. This movie was generally about grief. It was about us coming to terms with the loss of Chadwick Boseman, as well as the loss of T'Challa, as well as the characters accepting the loss of T'Challa, and how they rose above it. I mean, how they're using that to rise to become a stronger nation. That's what I took from the movie, and I have no problems with that. I'm just saying as a phase, because I want to see things kind of lead to somewhere. Right. I didn't get that. I got it for the movie, but I didn't get it for a phase, the end of a phase.
I can see that.
I think you revised your score there. You asked us to rate Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You did not ask us to rate Phase 4 of the MCU.
No. I said the movie, and I said the only reason why I can't go to an A is because of that. I didn't say anything about the phase. Oh, if we're grading the phase is an F. The phase is an F. Like
it depends on how you feel it, man. It really does, because and I think the thing about Phase 4 is it doesn't end, and I actually like this. I like it. It's not this cookie cutter, good guys are introduced, bad guys are introduced, conflict, we wrap it up in a nice, palatable, piece for you to digest. I like that it's not like that. I like that there's so much uncertainty. I really like that there's so much left in the air. It gives us work with for Phase 5. I don't like the idea of us having to, with every new phase, have to start all over again with new villains and new things like that. We have King the Conqueror out there. So we know he's going to have a pivotal role going forward. We know, in fact, in the movie, I kept wondering, is this King? Is King doing this? Is he behind that decision? What's going on? And I really like that. Even with the advent of the mutants, even with them coming on board. And think about it, in Phase 4, we had mutants. We didn't have that before. We had mutants.
Yeah.
Right? So that's something I'm really excited about. So Phase 4, again, introduced so many new things, so many new concepts that the previous phases could not introduce. I actually thought, I looked at the Avengers movie recently. It's trash.
You saw it 2012, right?
My God, I hate the Avengers film. It's like, It's like that Drake album he did that he devoted to Virgil Abloh.
Honestly, never mind.
He should
What did they say? If that was who you dedicate, if you're dedicating that to him, we feel sorry for him.
My God, that movie is trash. I mean, that whole. It's not that the movie's bad. It's just that if you think about, it's just not my movie. I can't.
No, I get it. I get it.
The thing I like about this phase is they introduced so many new characters from She-Hulk to letting us know that the Hulk is still around and the Hulk has a son, to introducing us to Miss Marvel and to introduce us to what's the brother's name? Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
They introduced us to new characters in the Marvel. I mean, to Wakanda as well, and letting us know that now we have a new Captain America. And don't forget, we have a new guy who was Captain America in '99 anymore. So there's so many new characters introduced in Phase 4. And this is so much stuff for us to work with in Phase 5. And by the way, we got Val, who's going to be accumulating all these people. And Jerome, you know, I feel about Black Widow. I said the movie should never been made.
Mm-hmm.
I want to recant that statement. I still think the movie should have been made, but they did introduce us to 3 new characters in that we needed. Her sister.
Yeah, her sister is like,
right?
Yeah,
her
killed
sister.
it. Mm-hmm.
And the original Super Soldier, whose name I can't think of right now.
The Red Guardian?
Yeah. And then third person, somebody else that we're gonna see.
Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So we'll see them going forward. So we needed that movie, as trash as it was, and as unnecessary as it was. We needed it for Phase 5. So you know, and there are no parts that are gratuitous so far.
Yeah.
So that's why I say Phase 4 has been all about new introductions, reading characters in different ways, and just giving us new concepts and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we're gonna close it out tonight. I mean, close this out for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you again, Marcus, for your review, your analysis. We appreciate it so much. Click like and subscribe for the channel as well as for the videos. Don't forget to post, comment. You know, we love to hear feedback. We love to hear your comments about the movie. And thank you guys for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Peace.